And welcome back. Well, if you are still thinking about summer travel, you may want to consider a visit to Fort Robinson State Park.
The fort was the center of many historic happenings that helped shape the state, including the U.S. 9th Cavalry. So joining us now with more on that is Aaron Hirschberger with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Good to have you back. I know you were in Maine for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. You guys have been moving around the state quite a bit with different competitions and moving kids around.
Yeah.
You know, I've been at some exciting meetings where you get to go to neat spots and sometimes look out the window from time to time. But this is obviously the best time to get out to your Nebraska state parks. You know, it's definitely warm enough now. There's no worried about getting too cold out there. And some of the spots we actually have state historical parks here in the state of Nebraska that not only have a cool place to stop by, but you almost have to feel like you're becoming part of history out there. And one of those out there near Crawford, Nebraska, Fort Robinson State Park is one of those places that I don't think you can help but feel like you're back on the Wild West and the frontier days and that. And obviously just the scenery that's out there as well as kind of that knowing what took place there, and that history is so close at hand from early days of the Plains Indians all the way through World War II, but the Buffalo Soldiers, the 9th Cavalry and the 10th Cavalry, both stationed at the fort for some time. In fact, the 9th spent more than a decade as their regimental headquarters there at Fort Robinson, and they were pretty vital to not only the expansion of the area, but they were also helping keep the pioneers and the settlers safe from the Indians from time to time, and that whole episode of our nation's history. In fact, they were one of the first groups to actually go to the Pine Ridge Reservation, called upon during the perceived threat of the ghost dance. And so they were a unit that was, you know, quite a bit of our Nebraska history as well as American history as well there on the Great West. But they were not alone in that, and nowadays you can kind of go and learn a little bit about those Buffalo Soldiers, as the Native Americans like to call them, and all the folks. We had some of the first West Point graduates that were African American within those Cavalries. We also had 10 Medal of Honor winners within those Buffalo Soldiers as well. So a really cool part of our history here in Nebraska, as well as some of the things that shaped the nations. Because at that time, segregated units, and they kind of helped break down those walls right here on the Great Plains of Nebraska. So get out there and check that out. We've got plenty of historical documentation there at the fort.
Very good. I know there's a lot you can learn there. Their museum is neat, and so much to see and do there.
There is, on the natural side, on the historical side. I mean, there's a little bit for everybody out there.
You do feel it when you walk around.
Yeah.
You
You
feel
do.
the
You
history.
can almost feel the drums, and you can almost hear just from the echoes from the bluffs and the buttes out there.
It's cool.
It is pretty cool. Now, did I hear you guys talking pollinators earlier this week?
Yes.
Pollinator week and all that type of stuff. My wife caught that too, and before I let it go, she made sure that I brought in these butterfly-inspired earrings. Now, I don't know, Dawn, thought they were for you, but you don't look like you have pierced ears.
No, I don't.
No, all right, so they must be for parents. And I was
thank
told if I forget to give those to you today, don't come home. I don't know. My wife's into those subliminal messages. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. These are cool. Thank you.
Very
Hershey.
nice.